originally, the initial value I got from Food Dog right off the beginning is the thought of, if you're going to 10x your business, you got to 20x yourself. If I had this level of support 10 years ago, man, I feel like I could conquer anything in the world. You know, I could probably be president of the United States if I wanted to. But yeah, it's incredible. The real value is that it shrinks the time, right? You don't have to go through the trial and error of learning these things. Is that when you're there with people who've been there and have done that and been through the process, not only professionally in your business, but also personally in your life, struggled with things in life, that's the fast path, is going there, seeing how they think, and that pulls you through and gets you out of the rut that you're in faster. It gets you to wealth faster. It gets you to health faster. That's the real value.
When I was 26, I moved from New York to California. On that plane ride, I read Tony Robbins' Awaken the Giant Within. The book absolutely changed my life. So since that time, I've seen Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy, Les Brown, Zig Ziglar when he was alive, Jack Canfield, Colonel McChrystal, the list goes on and on. One of the things, and I say this with great pride about Food Dog Group, dude, these guys are at a completely different level, 100%. They work from a different perspective. So the vantage point that they're coming from, and I'm not taking anything away from those speakers that I mentioned because they were fantastic, just this comes at it on a different approach and gets a different result. So again, I would encourage you to seek out the Food Dog Group for their personal development and personal up-leveling mastery.
The impact, I think, especially going through this event with my dad, kind of comes full circle because this is happening at a time where I'm about to have my first child. So us coming at it together, those blessings that I will bring home, I can bring on to him. And then eventually down the road, maybe we will do the same. So it's already a cycle of just personal power that we've created.
Food Dog Group is like the family that you never had. You know, most of us have family that we're born into, right? And when you get to choose your family, that's what Food Dog is like. It's people who are hungry to grow themselves, who are wired to give and serve others, and to show up and be fully present for themselves and each other. And so if you want to run with a pack of leaders that are doing great things, that's a place for you. If you like to have fun and experience new things, That's what Food Dog Group is like. If you want to feel the support, compassion, and empathy from others who are on a similar journey and share maybe life experiences where you get stuck, that's for you. And if you want to get results and you're looking for process, that is what Food Dog Group is about.
I mean, I would tell them to, to come to the training and try it out. And, you don't know what you don't know until you see it, and then you know you need it, right? And if they answer any question that anybody asks them, and how's their personal life, how's their relationship with their wife, how's their business, and they say, oh, it's good. If you don't say anything other than it's absolutely freaking amazing, then you've got a problem. You've got a problem somewhere in your personal life, somewhere in your business, and Mike's the guy that'll help you figure out what that is and then move you forward.
Yeah, I think to clarify it into one transformation thing, it is the mindset shift, the ability to have no limits and release fears and truly just be your person.
Yeah, so I'll share a little bit of detail. Over the last this year, we have been able to make almost, well, I think it's actually a little over $1 million outside of our business by following the things that we've learned, and that's life changing when you can do that. So that's been a huge impact on us this year, and just being willing and learning to take those risks and set fear aside and go after things that your mind wants to tell you that you can't do, but you can. You can do that.
The big difference right now for me is that being able to do this together.
Yeah.
It's one of the first mindset things that we've done together. I've always gone and traveled on my own to do this, and then we always bring it back and we process together.
Correct.
But doing this together is, to me,
I think it's been better to actually be able to physically do it together. Because yes, she would do a lot of the traveling. She's done Tony Robbins and stuff like that, and she'd bring it back and we'd discuss it, or that night she'd call and we'd discuss it. And there's great things that I can learn secondhand from it and that she's learned firsthand. But being able to actually do it together, there's just so much more growth that is possible, because I'm experiencing it with her, but I'm also getting my own perspective to bring to it that then we can discuss.
I would say just even in the last couple months, our relationship has gotten so much closer.
It's shifted a lot.
I know.
It's allowed me to grow from thinking I can only do this to being able to do whatever I want. I just have to shift my identity. I have to figure out, or I find out the next one and I make it happen. And I know what my next one is. To, like I said, step into a role to help her to take on more, rather than just being, you know, a worker doing my own thing.
The whole worker identity versus other identities.
Yeah, like an advisor or, you know, being part of this business. You know, I've been in manufacturing for so long. Medical's different, mindset work is different. I can do more than what I've thought I could do before.
You sure as fuck can do more than you ever thought before.
Yes, I can.
Thank you. I see connections that are really important. I also see me asking more people for help and receiving it. I've always been a lone wolf and feeling really alone with that. And I'm dropping my lone wolf finally. Whew.
That's good.
I know, it's great. But that's what I see moving forward is being part of a pack instead of being a lone wolf. That's been really rough. So I'm excited about that.
Hi, I'm Kevin Harrington, one of the original sharks from the hit television show Shark Tank. Have you had to make the choice between a fulfilling personal life or a successful professional career? This often results in either not achieving important financial goals or building up wealth at the expense of a rewarding family. Although it may seem implausible, people can achieve success in both their personal and business lives. Are you ready to meet someone who could have the answers for you? Meet Mike Agliaro. He's an author, speaker, investor, and thought leader who has experienced several business exits that have been successful at the same time that his personal life has flourished. Mike is now sharing his formula for a full life through his company, the Foo Dog Group. They have cracked the code, allowing people to grow and expand their entire lives to achieve the impact that they want while building the wealth that they desire. This can all be achieved while experiencing fulfilling relationships and family lives. You need to learn about Foo Dog Group's unique processes, which combine ancient wisdom and modern strategies to elevate every area of life. Go to foodoggroup.com to discover how Mike and his company can work with you right now. Thank you for listening.
When we break the tipping point, when we go over the edge where it's 3 million every month and 3 million's a walk in the park, guess who the game changes for?
All of us.
Everybody in the room. I am with my beautiful goddess of a wife for over 33 years.
Mike is now sharing his formula for a full life, allowing people to grow and expand their entire lives to achieve the impact that they want while building the wealth that they desire.
So if you are a business owner, if you run a mastermind group, you want to be involved with Mike. Take it from me, somebody who's worked with him on multiple levels. Mike is the real deal.
If there's one person in my list of who to surround yourself with, it's Mike Aguilera.
And now, please welcome Mike Aguilera.
Boom. Hey, welcome everybody. Super excited to see all of you this evening or morning, wherever you're at in the world. What time is it where you're at? Type in the chat bar. Do we have anybody on like late night or early morning here? Also, I want to make sure you know how to use the chat bar. If you are on, do me a favor, let's be on. Let's turn on your cameras. It's always weird when I'm talking to like just a block, unless you're dressed or in a weird place or it's inappropriate. Well, then just turn it on and off real quick and leave it to our imagination. Otherwise, 4 p.m., 5 p.m. This is the perfect time for most of you. All right. Make sure you got a pen and paper, everybody. Make sure you got a pen and paper. I am sure we will have a fair amount of people joining us tonight. The subject is really exciting, and it's made so that you could leave tonight with action items. That's what we want. We want you to leave with action items. So let's make sure you got pen and paper ready. Also, let me know, just to give me a little feel of everybody that's here, because I got people that are in some of our programs. I got people that have been in my life a very long time. I got my beautiful wife here. We've been together since we're 15. How long have you been in my world? If you're new, type in new. I'll know that you're brand new in our world. If you've been in my world for 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, well, type it in. We got some new. Hey, Mike. Welcome, Mike. Just so you know, you got the perfect name. So welcome here. All right, 6 months, new. Hey, hey, Michael Quinn, nice to see you. I think everybody should just change their name to Mike. It would just make it easy. I wouldn't have to remember anything else. 4 years, 2+ years. All right. How many of you had a chance to read the Mind Power book? Has anybody had a chance to read that? Here it is right here. If you did, put Mind Power in the chat bar. And if you didn't, put a question mark like, hey, Mike, I'm new. I didn't even know you had a new book out. This just gives me a little bit of a framing. Look, this is for you guys tonight. This is for everybody that's here. I want to make sure that this is not some rigid presentation for you, but we get to navigate through where you want to go and where you might need to go, Book is great. Hey, Hank, thank you for that. New. Did not know you had a book out. Yeah, Bill, I actually got 18 books out over the last decade, but the latest one's called Mind Power. And we'll make sure the team tells you how to get a hold of that book. If you're in the States, I'll be honored, Bill, just to send you one on us. So one of my team members will send you a private message. If you're out of the state, we'll get you a digital version and you can figure out that way. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to get it out. I say we dig right in. If you're ready to dig in, type in dig in. And I see a whole lot of you on here that are in my world quite a bit. Hey, Anthony and Ella, Patrick and Sherry, what's happening? Chuck, nice to see you again here. Let's look at our subject that we're going to be tackling tonight here. This here, what triggered me to have this conversation with all of you, and I want to make sure that we do something different than everybody else in the world, okay? I just to share a quick story, I was going to possibly go to this person's training a couple weeks ago, and I couldn't go. And then what happened was they sold the replay of the training. And I was like, you know what? I'll buy the replays because, I could always learn something. I'm always in a state of learning. And by the way, if we'll keep putting the link in there. If you know somebody in your world, you want to share the link, tell them to jump on real quick or share it on social media. The team will keep putting the link in there for you and say, hey, share this, right? The more people we help, you're paying nothing for it. It's free. This is a give back. We just want to change the world. So back to the story about this training. So I bought this training and there's got to be 19 or 20 speakers. And I start watching it. And the first one, it's a motivational story. I'm about 15 minutes in. I said, that's it. There's no action here. It's a fun story with nothing. You can't do anything with it except go, okay, that's a good story for that person. And then the next one's the same thing. And the next one. And out of 19 different speakers, only one of them did I actually get an action item because they gave tangible action items. Here's the subject. This is what you should think. This is what you should do. And if you choose to do it, that's perfectly up to you. But at least you know. And if you believe that action is really important, actionable items, can you type in important in the chat bar for me? I believe it's super important. And it's been a what they would call an X factor. They call it an X factor. Well, who's a business owner here? Type in business. If you're a business owner. If you're not a business owner and you're a career person or the interesting thing about my world today is my world used to be a whole lot of just blue collar. And today we got CEOs of hospitals, we got doctors, we got people that own IT companies and everything in between. And so I want to make sure that I'm not doing like a lot of people are doing. I don't want to motivate you. You might feel some motivation. I want to make sure you leave with some tangible action items. Okay, if that's a deal, type in deal in the chat bar. Also, while I'm going through it, the more you communicate with me, the more I'm going to know I'm tracking and I'm creating transformation for you guys. All right. So if I say something and you're like, got it, you could type in boom. Give me a big old boom in the chat bar right now so I know you know how to do it. And if you type in boom, I'll know, okay, we're tracking now. We're making impact. Or you could type in, you know what? Here's an action I took. Because when you serve in the chat bar, you're serving everybody here. This is about turning economic turbulence into opportunities. Now type in the chat bar who thinks or is already feeling a little bit of economic turbulence. Anybody? Maybe give me a hand up. Anybody feeling it? Okay, I see the hands up. I bet you are because people are just freaking out. I mean, are you all really that concerned? Like you're going to lose sleep over that submarine that someone decided they were going to spend a lot of money and go look at the Titanic? Like, is that your biggest concern in life today, everybody? Like, this is what you're worried about. Where did the thing go? Forget about the airplane that disappeared with all the people, right? When was that thing? Like, it was heading to Malaysia or something. They're like, the plane just disappeared, nowhere to be found. And what about the plane that lands? 25 years ago, and a plane lands. They're all dead on the plane. Or was that like the movie Lost or one of those Manifest or whatever? And the world is so interesting today because people are, I feel, pay a lot of attention to something that's not changing their life right now. And I believe you have a responsibility to your family, to your children, to your partner, if that's a husband or wife or whatever your partner is today. I feel you have a responsibility to do what's best to help your life be better so you could create a bigger legacy. That's what triggered me to say, you know what? Let's talk about the 7 proven steps to bulletproof your life. And I have to give a little bit of foundation because I have people, hey, Brian Jewett, I have all kinds of people here. I have people that are in my world. I got people that I've made, I've put a fingerprint. And if anybody on here, if I've had my fingerprints in your world and I've either created wealth for you or change in your life or impact, unlike anything you could have imagined years ago, type in impact in the chat bar. I'm pretty proud that people had my fingerprints on. I've created over 45 decamillionaires. And so I want to let you know, I do have to set some framing because not everybody that's new knows this. And they're just on here going, well, wait a minute, this tattoo guy, your intentions are, I don't know how long I'll stay on here tonight. I would challenge you to stay the whole time. We'll go a little over an hour of the information. And I'd rather not we don't turn into a pumpkin at a certain time. So I'd rather stay until we're done. If that's cool, give me a boom if we could stay till we're done. All right. Now, I will give you a little disclaimer. This is not a business training. Okay. This is a training to help you think different. And write this down. In order to scale anything, you have to scale yourself. In order to improve anything, you have to improve yourself. It sounds intuitive to you. You go, yeah, of course, Mike. Tell me some riddle that makes a lot of sense or something more, earth-shattering. But then people don't know how to do it. All right. Our goal is we do want you to have massive transformation, but I am out of the business coaching game right now because I have some restrictions and stuff. I'll be back in the game someday. I promise all of you, but right now I'm restricted, so we're not going to do it. I'm going to give you the real important stuff because what I found out after all this time is marketing, sales, and operations doesn't make you wealthy. It doesn't change your health. Changing you changes all those things. So why is it important now? Tell me if you can relate to any of these things here. Like, can any of you relate to the costs are rising? Anybody with Geico? Did you get the nice email? Cody, Geico, hey, your insurance is going to go up 28%. I mean, and you guys probably have to raise your prices too. Or supply chains restricted. This didn't go away. Banks are failing. Some of you think the bank that failed, that you had no money in anyway, that was like the other submarine. We always have another submarine story, right? It's like, oh, the banks. Someone I know is freaking out about the banks. I said, did you have money in the bank? They're like, no. Did you ever even hear of that bank? No. I said, that's called delusion. Like you have a fear of something you have no idea about. And yeah, there are another round of layoffs. Like, hey, if you're not taking your destiny into your own hands, you are a slave to someone else's destiny. That's just a reality today, right? If you're not taking your destiny in your own hands, someone else is trying to own your destiny. And the economy, I would challenge this one a little bit. I don't think we're crashing towards a recession. I believe we're in a recession. And we're headed for a depression. Now, some people, for this recession depression, they feel just like him or her. They're like, oh my goodness, the sky is falling. All right. And then there's a whole bunch of us like this. Oh my goodness, the sky's falling, but it's gold coins that are falling from the sky. This is a very exciting time for a lot of you. The middle class will disappear. It will divide between the lower class and the upper class. I don't know. Where would you like to fall? It's going to be your choice by a decision you make. Money is getting a little tight for people because they're living in this vortex that happened after COVID. Money was a very bent up demand, and then it unloaded into the market. I would tell you, we were at Disney, a little over a month ago. And anybody type in Disney if you've been there in the last 4 or 5 months, 6 months. Anybody? Didn't seem to be an economy problem in Disney, was there? Like no economy problem there, no recession problem there. They were buying the turkey leg at $18 or whatever, and the butter beer at, Hogsworth butter stuff at, $12 a cold mug, and seemed no issues there at all. And families are worried that they will struggle. And I want to give you things to avoid struggle, to eliminate it. Okay. And forget about this, these people, this comfortable retirement. You know what the word retirement is, right? It's stopping what you hated forever. I would just say if we just change what you dislike and hate, we don't have to think about retirement. We could just think about a bigger, better future for you. And I do believe it's urgent to solve this for a lot of you. It is urgent. So what's the solution? Well, let's become bulletproof, right? It's about being ready in advance. I talked about this today on, I think I was talking about it on our mastery level calls today. We're talking about reactive versus proactive. Everybody's very reactive, right? The submarine, the airplane, the bank, very reactive, very charged and stuff, and versus proactive. If you ever want to just see, I don't know if it will make you feel better or worse, but if you ever just want to look up on Wikipedia the history of recessions, it is amazing. It's amazing how many sequential it's happened. This is not new. You got nothing to fear. And I do believe when they say that phrase, they say, Melanie, you got nothing to fear, but fear itself. You got nothing to fear but yourself. You might want to write that one down. There's nothing to fear out there but yourself. It's your reaction, your thinking, your processing of things. So here's my big promise to you guys today. I'll definitely get you 7 action steps, and I'm going to give you 7 steps that you can apply. All right. We'll learn how to navigate some of this economic recession. I'm going to give you really big pieces to focus on. We'll find out how to improve your health. I don't know about you guys, but I did get, I'll share real quick just to show you, because I believe for some of you new, well, how would you just know if Mike's just telling a story? I don't want to be like that training videos, those recordings I got. I don't want to tell a story. I want to show proof of the story. One thing that's real important for us at Food Dog Group is to show that we could reverse age. So this is my current blood test. I'm level 53 right now. If you want to say what level you are, type it in the chat bar. We won't know if it's true or not anyway. But I'm level 53. But my inner blood age is 47.5. So I'm beating it by 5.5 years. If that's important to beat your health and reverse your age, tell me. Type in important in the chat bar if that's important to you. Would that be important to reverse your age? Because we've been programmed in the world today, programmed to think that when you're 50, you're old. If you're 75, you should prepare for death. If you're 90, you should already be dead. And this framing is really hurts the population in the mind. So we'll talk a little bit and give you some things on health. We'll get clear about what, some of the things never to do, and you'll discover a whole bunch of actions. I don't know if Dwayne and Sherry's on tonight, but they've had a lot of breakthroughs, reversing a lot of health stuff, creating wealth, and so many more things. If they're on here, they could tell you about them. But I think there's some really cool things. By thinking different, they were able to make one different decision at the right moment, the right time, and that decision brought in $1 million for them. And I don't know, you guys, I don't know, would an extra $1 million do good for you? Type in 1 million in the chat bar if that would maybe do good for you. You got to do the work, guys. This is not like, sniffing unicorns and all of a sudden the magic Skittles happen. You have to do the work, but you got to know how to think about doing the work. You got to know how to think about doing the work. And here's my greatest awakening. And there's some pictures of me and my beautiful wife. My greatest awakening is, in order to scale anything in life or business, first you have to scale yourself, but then you got to make yourself bulletproof. You should probably give me a boom in the chat bar right now. You probably should give me a boom in the chat bar. Because if you scale yourself and don't bulletproof yourself, you'll win, but you'll get shot at. You'll get taken down. You'll get sloppy. You'll get complacent. Things will start to fall apart. And some of you are aware of this, but I like to still make the point here, because I just want to tell you, I'll never forget how to relate, right? This is me here. I was just talking to this guy right before this. That's Rob. He owned 2 of the companies, and we owned some buildings together. There's a great picture of me and my wife, and this is me working in the field. Is anybody a blue collar or tradesperson? Type in tradesperson in the chat bar if you could relate to working real cold outside. Your fingers hurt? Well, yes, we could relate to. And we also grew. One of the things about our world, and those of you that are new, is to know, like, we made a lot of mistakes. Okay. I still make some mistakes. We're not the people that tell you we are, everything is always perfect. No, we learned how to navigate. And even though we made mistakes, we needed to bulletproof ourselves. And there's some pictures of us when we were just starting a family, and our kids are grown up now. Our kids are 24 and 21. If you have kids, type in kids in the chat bar. Type in kids in the chat bar. I think it's really important with children today. I don't think a lot of people are becoming, and if I'm calling you out as a parent, I'd rather give you hurtful truths than comforting lies. Is that okay? Type in okay if that's okay. Like, would you rather me give you comforting lies? I'd rather give you the hurtful truth. Like, I don't believe a lot of parents are leading by a really good example. I think they're doing good things, like, and I think this is a waste of time and effort. Like, don't put your elbows on the table and your fork's got to be on this side. And like, I don't know if that changed anybody's life. And if you curse, like, you're going to be damned to all the hells. Well, I was brought up in an Italian family. Anybody Italian? Type in Italian in the chat bar. We were trained how to curse. I mean, it was a training manual. You learn that nice and young. But I think as having kids today, the goal is you should be leading an example of what it takes to make decisions. They should know you're on a training, improving yourself. And I do believe the proof is in the pudding, right? 25% counts, Liz. That counts. So the proof's in the pudding, right? Here's the company that I grew, sold that in 2017. This is the coaching company I grew, sold that in 2020. So I understand how to manage a lot of people because I had 200 employees in 2017. I understand how to sell companies. I understand how to grow things, and I know how to understand how to grow things because there's one key thing, and I want you to write it down and write it over and over and over. I invested in growing myself. And it helped me do things like this. I have well over $10 million in real estate. I think that qualifies me as a real estate guru today. I don't know, maybe I should go teach in it. This building's actually for sale right now. It's supposed to close in 30 days, but you never know how that stuff goes. So this closes in 30 days. I think that one's like 4.3 million, and this one's up for sale now. Okay, that's the building that I ran my service company. This is the one I ran the coaching company. Not only did I build a real estate portfolio, I bulletproof it. I bulletproof it. Anybody can go out there, and this debt-free. So you might be like, great, you own it. A lot of people own stuff. One thing goes wrong, their ass gets handed to them, right? This is all, there's no debt. Matter of fact, and I don't say anything I say tonight, if it's okay with you, I'm saying to make a point. I'm not saying it to brag to you. I'm not like, look at me, look at my wife. No. But if I don't make a point, how would you know what's possible? I mean, my wife and I have been debt-free since we're 28 and I'm level 53. That means no mortgages on anything. Now, why? The mind. Investing in the mind, how it thinks, because the higher level mind, the more strategic, the more tactical thinking you can do. And that's what's been, for those of you that were like, I didn't even know you wrote a book, man. Well, I wrote a whole lot of books. We actually have a bunch more coming out right now. And this is what I do when I look at these things, and I'm building this for all of you to serve you tonight. I look at, wait a second, Mike, what did you learn in relationships over 3 decades of being in a relationship? Like, how does that apply to bulletproofing? I've been, any martial artist here, type in martial arts in the chat bar. Any martial artists? 3 decades of studying martial arts and mastery and movement. 3 decades of building businesses. I've been a business owner for over 3 decades and helping a lot of people through mind blocks for over 3 decades. Over 3 decades. All right. All these martial artists here. Love it. What about military? Any military here? Type in. Let's give them a little thanks to the military for serving. And also, I've spoke on stage with a whole lot of amazing people. And I trained with some of the, I trained with the highest paid consultant on earth for 3.5 years, one-on-one. And this is what some of them say. So let's get ready to dig into some meat on this thing here. The shocking truth about what needs to be bulletproof. And you tell me if these things need to be bulletproof. First off, there's a whole lot of probably what you'd call asset or portfolio type stuff, like, you know, a whole bunch of stuff here. If you have a stock portfolio or 401k, do you have to bulletproof it? Type in bulletproof in the chat bar. Do you need to bulletproof it? Anybody got a crystal ball on that one? Who's very confident in the market today? You were just like, all in, baby, all in. Anybody? I'm curious about that. Anybody want to type there just all in on it? You got to bulletproof these things. And then maybe you have investments, collectibles, right? What about relationships? I mean, it's up to you to bulletproof the relationship. What about health? It's up to you to bulletproof the health. What about your community and contribution and personal growth? This is what we're talking about. There's a whole lot of pieces you need to bulletproof. You need to bulletproof your children. You need to make sure everything is protected. So let's dig into the first strategy. I believe the first strategy always goes to the mind. Okay? It always goes to the mind. Now, here is your mind today, right here. This is your mind today. And if you were to be transparent, just so you know, in my world, if you're new, we call it as it is. We don't make up stories. Nobody's impressed if you have $1 or 1 billion. We're not here. We're all just real people here. Okay, if you've been in my world and you agree, we're just real people, type in real people in the chat bar. We're real people. So I want you to ask yourself right now, your mind, what are some of the things here in your mind today that are holding you back, that are making you tightrope? You're kind of tightroping, trying to get to this other side. You're trying to get to this other side, right? And you're navigating. So what are some things in your mind today that are holding you back from going from where you're at to where you want to go? And type it in the chat bar. Okay, it's you. Is it your childhood? Could some of you, are you fighting with shames? Or some of you guilt? Are you have paralysis by fear? Are you afraid of taking a chance? Are you in a constant state of objections? Oh, wait a minute, the bank won't help me, the credit card won't help me, and there's not enough people, and I struggle to recruit. No. You don't struggle to recruit. I want you to write this down. How many of you would say you're struggling to hire people? Tell me in the chat bar. Any of you? Just put struggle is real. Are you struggling? You're not struggling to recruit anybody in your life. You're struggling to change to be somebody who people want to work for. That's what you're struggling. You're struggling to become that person. So when we talk about bulletproof in our mind, step number one of bulletproofing is we have to remove things. Okay? Now, this here may not look so scary. Doesn't look like a far fall. Maybe it's 3 feet. But a 3 foot with spikes, now it's a scary fall. And you're navigating the tightrope. And you're saying to yourself, wait a second. And what happens is the human mind, just so you know, if you don't bulletproof it, it keeps resetting back. How many of you were scaling something, business, wealth, improving your health, and eventually you got comfortable and your ass scaled right back to where you were? Tell me in the chat bar. Probably just me, not you guys, right? Take you right back to where you were, because I want you to understand this. The brain will go back and seek what it known. It goes back and seeks what it known, what it knows. So it keeps resetting back. So what do we got to do? Well, number one, to navigate this turbulence is understand the turbulence is inside my mind. I need to change the definition. The day I turned around and I said to myself, I will not live in the economy. I will be the economy of my world. This being my world. I will be the economy of my world. My mind switched. Now, that's a fun phrase until you make it real. How do you become the economy of your own world? Well, first, you say to yourself, I don't see impossible. And you guys know this, right? You know this here. You know, impossible is what? I'm possible. You guys know that, right? But we took something and we made it like, you cannot do that. The only way you do this here, and the only way you do this is by knowing what is possible and navigating the mind and bulletproofing it. So in order to bulletproof it, we have to create an identity. And when you create an identity, you want to create an identity that is new for where you want to go, which is right here. You want to create an identity that takes you to where you want to go. So if you were to give me one thing that you would shift today, one thought, one identity, one action, I need to stop saying I think, I need to stop saying try, I need to stop saying hope, I need to stop saying maybe, I need to stop telling people stories. If you go back 20 years ago, probably roughly, I was really having a hard time finding people, a very, very hard time finding people. And you know what? This is the reality of it, Joe. I told myself that it was so hard to find. First, I was like, it's hard to find. They're all on drugs. They're going to steal from me. They break my stuff and they never show up. Kevin, sound familiar at all? Or probably just my world, man, right? And then someone said, did you ever think that you're the creator? Remember, manifestation does not turn on and off. Hank, you don't turn on and off manifestation. You're always manifesting what you want or what you don't want. That is the reality. If my thoughts are constantly talking about pain, I will manifest what I don't want. If my mind, now I shared this a couple times today. Hank, I don't know if you saw this yet, but I started watching the series Arnold. And I'm only halfway through the first one. And man, I didn't get through the rest. Maybe it'll change, but he deserved what he got. He talked about seeing it, feeling it, visualizing in a constant state of manifestation. People are so programmed today with can't versus how. Oh, I can't do that. I don't have the money. I can't do that. I don't have the time. I can't do that. I have children. I had the same thing one time. I had a woman coach one time, and my wife worked with this high-level woman coach. She said, you should work. And you know what, Hank, I put on my big masculine self, and I was like, what's this woman coach going to teach me? And then I was like, wait a minute, Mike, maybe you're not going to grow. Maybe you're missing a growth opportunity. So I did this coaching day, and my wife was talking about going to this training, 7 days long, out of state, small baby, like small children. They could eat in their toilet, they could use the toilet, but they got to be watched. They got to be bathed. You can't let them run. They were young. And this woman said one thing, Hank, that changed my life forever. She said, I heard your wife wants to go there. And I said, how am I going to go there? I'm growing a big business. I got no time. I have children. How could I make this work? This can't work. And then she said something, Hank. She said, oh, so big Mr. Businessman can't figure this out. And then I had a vision of actually throat chopping her. And I was like, well, Mike, change your mind real quick. You can't think like that. Why are you feeling this way? It's because she was right. And then guess what we did? I figured it out. We hired my aunt. She flew out there. She watched the kids while we were there. We made it happen. And it was the most magical experience, one of them in our life. We've had a lot because we live a life by design. And if we never had that time, I would also be programmed with how? I can't afford it. I can't do this. And I have children and I have no time. You understand? I got a job. In bulletproofing your mind, stop focusing on what you see as a wall and start focusing on how, what is the solution? Because you know, if there's a wall, when you have a wall in front of you, Kevin, most people go, it's a block wall. It's 12 inches thick. I can't go through it. I go, okay, but the wall's only 6 foot wide. Why don't you just walk around it? The walls, it's only got a foundation a foot deep. Why don't you dig under it? The wall's only 8 foot high. Try to jump over it. But everybody in life just sees the wall. How many of you got a good sense of why you got to bulletproof your mind? Type in bulletproof in the chat bar. I want to make sure, because your action item is what inside your mind is the stories you're telling yourself that you have to change. That you have to change. Now let's talk about bulletproofing your body. Bulletproofing your body is, there's this interesting thing that people have this, they have this emotional driven illusion, okay? I bet any of you that watched, tell me if this is true, especially for the men here. Any of you that watched Arnold, I guarantee, tell me if I'm wrong, that there was a moment in the beginning you started watching and started saying to yourself, I'm going to start working out. I'm going to look better. I'm going to start flexing. Tell me that's true. Is that true or is it false? I guarantee you watched it, man, and you were like, you saw yourself in the reflection of his muscles. But here's the thing today. To bulletproof your body, everybody says health's the most important things, but not everybody shows the actions of it. And when you bulletproof your body, like this is a caterpillar, you guys get that. And do you know, like this caterpillar has to climb? This caterpillar has to climb, and then it's got to enter, and it's got to turn into, when it's in this state, tell me, what is its form in that state? A pile of what? What's it, a pile of what? Yeah, it's a pile of mush. Just a pile of, like, just imagine. And some of you can relate to this. You probably turned into a pile of mush before, and you didn't know how to escape it. So instead of growing into a butterfly, you spent a decade being a pile of mush. I see that with divorced people all the time. And maybe I shouldn't talk about divorce because I haven't been divorced, but I also been through a lot of other stuff. And I don't think there's a difference in a decade's a decade. If you have not been past the trauma after a decade, you have not invested in the right resource to get past the trauma. That's just a fact. It doesn't take a decade to get past it. Matter of fact, today, traumas could be like that, could be changed. I mean, how would you live today, all of you, if, and you guys probably don't have any of these problems, but if you could remove all your shames, all your guilts, all your traumas, all the things that haunted your mind, and you removed all of them right now, tell me what the next decade will be like for you. Tell me in the chat bar, what word would you use? Unstoppable? What else? Explosive, free? Yeah. But guess what? You can do that. The reason why it's bulletproof in the body is because if the body's not, now I could always tell for somebody, the mind, the body follows the mind. Just so you know that. The body follows the mind. If the mind's distorted, the body's distorted. If someone has no energy, fatigue, all of this stuff, you just look at the mind and you can see why the mind is filling the things to create the fatigue. Now, these are not, I'm not saying these are easy things. I'm saying they're different things. It was very, very, very painful to get rid of caffeine. Michael Quinn, very painful. Okay, Mark, extremely painful. Now, I didn't do coffees. I didn't do that. I drank iced tea, caffeine iced tea, cold, about 4 or 5 sugars in that bad boy. I did that for a long time when I was working in the field and growing a business. The day I made a decision to kick caffeine, it was torturous. Anybody do that? Type in the chat bar. It is so painful. I felt like my head was gonna explode. I had suicidal thoughts. I couldn't even. And the day I watched Michael Quinn, the day I figured out how painful it was to do it, I knew the hold on my body that this thing had. It was not bulletproof. It was not bulletproof. So if you want to create wealth, abundance, longevity, and you want to lead by example, guess what? You probably got to beat those things. And I get it. People tell me, and look, I'm not judging anybody here. I'm just telling you me. I never drank alcohol. I never did drugs. I never smoked cigarettes. I don't do it. Why? Well, when you're in survival mode of life and no one's there feeding you and you're on your own, very, very young, you have a chance. Fuck everything up in life or bulletproof yourself so you can survive. I chose that route. So I don't do those things. Now, it doesn't mean I don't eat candy bars. I do have non-sugar ones, which I have almost every day, 2 little squares about that big. But I do understand what it's like that if I don't bulletproof the body, guess what? When you guys look, do you want to reverse your age or just fatigue in it? Like, what do you guys want? I think all of you would like to reverse your age, and all of you can. All of you can. Now, stress will keep you in here. Stress will keep you in the pile of crap, the mush. When you make a decision to bulletproof your body, this is a new identity right there. That's an identity. This is probably one of the greatest, simplest examples of shifting identity that's there, Edna. You know why? Because a caterpillar turns into a butterfly. The identity of something that crawls on the ground to something that flies. And all of you can shift your identity and start to bulletproof your body. Also, it's very important today to bulletproof your body so it can carry the mind and you're not prey to all of these things, these flus and these COVIDs and all these things that the world wants to try to tell you your body cannot defend. Your body is superhuman. It could defend a lot, I promise you. If you get it in a defendable state. And if you're not strong in your body, how strong can you be for your family? What model are you leaving? Now, look, we messed up, myself too. I mean, if you want to know why we have a problem, because we got our kids to eat like it was a choo-choo train. And then when they were good, we fed them a lollipop, which was packed with sugar or ice cream. And then all of a sudden their metabolism, anybody experience that later 20s metabolism shift? Type in shift. You know what the shift is like, right? Where you went from eating anything to eat one thing and it's like all of a sudden every part of your body pops out. You got what I'm saying? It shifted. But it only shifted because we kept pounding ourselves with these things. I'm not here to tell you, I'm not your health coach and stuff. I'm here to advise you on if you want to go to the next level in your life and you want to avoid turbulence, avoid health issues. Okay? Give me an action item on what you're going to do there. Give me an action item and tell me if you're getting value. Type in value in the chat bar. Type in value in the chat bar. And then we're going to go for the next one here. We got a lot to cover tonight for you guys, a lot to cover. All right. So bulletproofing your spirit. Your spirit. What is your spirit? Spirit takes a lot of forms on, right? Spirit can be your energy field, right? So for me, spirit could be energy field. It could be your soul, right? It could be your most inner self. You could call part of your subconscious mind, part of your spirit. But you have a spirit because when any of you are broken, you say, my spirit was broken. My spirit was broken. And when you feel broken and your spirit's broken, your health gets broken, your relationships get broken. Now, if you understand energy at all, which if you want to write down a phrase, and you should write it every time it said, hey, Aaron Watts, nice to see you. Everything is energy. And energy is everything. Everything is energy, and energy is everything. So the stronger the roots that you build, the stronger the roots, the stronger your spirit. This all works together, everybody. It has to be mind. The mind has to know how to function. The body needs to be a vessel for the mind. The spirit is layered within the mind and the body. And when these three expand, it starts to give you amazing fruit. It starts giving you fruit. So what the heck is fruit? Well, the fruit that it starts to grow when you're bulletproofing your spirit, protecting your energy field, enhancing yourself, the fruit starts, relationships are stronger. Communication's better. You sleep better. You make quicker, better decisions. Everything starts to expand when those three are aligned and your spirit's aligned with it. And then what happens is, you know, when your spirit's really aligned, when on a sunny day, you love it because it's sunny. And on a rainy day, you love it because it's raining and cleaning things. And you're in control of your spirit emotional state. You're so hacked by, most people are so hacked by dopamine in these emotional states. Oh man, if I just got that new TV, if I got that new car, right? If I just got that new shoes, that new purse, if I just got that new purse, I would feel good for a moment in time, not for the lifetime, for a moment in time. And the minute that you carry the purse and you find out your friend has the same purse, the moment in time goes away. And then guess what you need? Another purse, another set of shoes, another watch. And then you convince the world, no, 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 I like watches. No, you don't. You like the significant emotional feeling from the watch. You're driven by the dopamine hit of that's what success is. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't own a great watch. I'm not saying you shouldn't own your Lamborghinis and stuff. Just understand why you own it. Is it an emotional hit? Like emotional crack? Or is it something that you just love vehicles? You're a vehicle junkie. You love the motor, the engine, the cars, the function, the performance. It's all about the car. And the distinction is it about the car or about you? Is it about the car or about you? See, what happens is we're trying, when our spirit is not aligned with our body and our mind, we are trying to find things to create happiness instead of just finding internal happiness. Internal happiness. So tell me something you're taking away about the spirit here, because if you look through the history of time, a lot of times I tell people, do you remember 2008? And they go like this. Oh man, yeah. And I go, broke your spirit? Oh man, I got whooped. I got walloped. And I'll say, oh, what about 9/11? Oh man. Whew. Yeah, horrible, horrible. Got whooped? Yeah. And every one of them were cracks in your spirit that for some people never healed them. And when you have cracks and you're unwhole, traumas and guilt and all this create a hold. It creates imagine like I take a block wall and I smack it and it puts a big crack in it. Being from a family of Masons, right? Being from a family of Masons, if you smash that wall, it puts a fracture crack in it. Fracture. Well, that's what these things are like. And that fracture is in your spirit. Now, you don't have to live with that. You could heal the fracture. You could change the fracture. My dad used to go in and reinforce the block wall with rebar. Hank, they drill holes and put steel rods, and that wall would never move. They reinforced it. But not enough people are telling you how to reinforce it, because if you just keep ignoring it or sedating it, it doesn't go away. It sits in a state of brokenness. Now, I'm sure all of you could relate, because without saying who it is, do some of you right now know some broken people? They're acting broken. They say they're broken. They feel broken. Tell me in the chat bar. Do you know some broken people? Man, I know a bunch of them. So many factors doing it today, questioning themselves. All right, let's go here right now. So we still got, this is strategy number 3. We still got 4 more strategies. I do want to share something that's coming up for you guys. A lot of you are already signed up and attending it. So if it's okay with you, can I share something that's coming up? Can you type in share in the chat bar? I'm not here to sell you guys anything. If it makes sense, good. If it doesn't, that's fine. We already have a ton of people attending this thing. They'll tell you who's already signed up for it. This is something that we have coming up, and I think a lot of you might want to attend it because it's amazing. But it is interview, so we want to make sure it's a right fit for who's going to be there. It's called Seekers of Power Catalyst. And those of you that are on tonight, if you're already signed up for Seekers of Power Catalyst, can you type in power in all caps? Because a whole bunch of you here are. It's September 14th to the 16th. It's in New Hartford, Connecticut. It's live. It's in person. And there can only be so many people. And the reason why there can only be so many people is there's only so big of a property and there's only so big of a house that we're holding it at. And this is what Seekers of Power is, just so you guys know. So one thing at Seekers of Power is going to be, you're going to connect with like-minded people. You're going to discover what amazing things have happened in the lives of Seekers of Power who have been with the Food Dog Group for whatever, 2-3 years. If anybody's attended the virtual Seekers of Power, type in virtual and say what that's been like. During the 3 days, we're going to build implementation. So you're going to get actionable tools that you apply, test, and implement right there. And we're going to talk about how to create an energy and an empowerment like you've never felt before, like you've never experienced before. Who was that Change the Channel live? Type in Change the Channel and say what that was like. And then we're going to go for transformation, permanent change. 3 days, small group, permanent change. So you can live with more clarity, focus, energy, and confidence. And you can actually manifest the future that you want, the one that you desire. Now, we are running for you guys tonight. I'll just tell you, this training is this right now. I'll tell you the cost of the training. And then there's an incentive for you guys, but members that are on here, please, members, you already get this. It's free for you guys. So don't register on the link tonight. Please don't do that, because then all the times that happens, we got to refund stuff. So normally this thing's going to be $4,995. Okay. It's 3 days, total immersion, in person, big days, powerful experiences. For those of you that are here, we're taking off $1,000 for you guys. It's $3,995. That's it. Okay. If you need a payment plan, we have it for some of you. This is a small exclusive group. This is not 100 people. It's 65. That's cap. It cannot be more. You can't stretch the house. There's the rules on the house. So just so you know, it's 65 people. That's it. And with our members taking a percentage of it, there's a small amount for people that would like to come. And you could go, they'll put the link in the chat bar. You could check out the page right here if you want to get in on it. Now, those of you that do jump in, we have a whole bunch of bonuses for you guys, just so you know. We have this, 799 bonuses. Workbook, you're going to get the Life Power Package, the Personal Energy Power Package, and the Personal Wealth Power Package. These things you're going to get to ignite you in this training, so you can do some before and some after. It's going to be super powerful. Also, right here, if you do decide to come, you got our no worries, love the event guarantee. If you do not get a transformation, okay, we'll make sure that if you don't get it and you're not wowed, by the end of the first night, 100% will return your tuition. No hard feelings. Hand in your workbook. We'll hug you. We love you. We'll let you go. I guarantee anybody here that's been on an event of ours has never left. If that's true, those of you in my world, type in true. They've never left. Okay. So if this is a fit and you want to see. Now, part of this 3 days in September is going to be me not only sharing energy, power, understanding yourself, getting rid of shames and guilts and traumas, and understanding how to build this future. I'm going to share, just as you guys know, all the things I'm doing now. Why am I selling buildings? How am I aligning myself for the future? How am I partnering with companies today? What is my thinking inside my mind and who I'm becoming to leverage this opportunity of once in a lifetime for most of us? This is going to be the most powerful opportunity of your entire life that we will see in probably in the next 80 years or something. Now, 80 will make me roughly 133, and I'm shooting for 140. So maybe I will get a couple of years of another round of it. So this is Lanita. She'll just tell you some things. I don't know if she's on tonight, but I have a whole bunch of people. You don't have to ask Lanita. You could ask everybody that's on here. All right. Before we go to bulletproof energy, which is going to be a big conversation, let me just shrink this so I could see everybody here. And I was wondering if I could, you know what? Chuck, are you able to unmute? I see him there.
Yes, sir.
Chuck, I know you've been through Seekers of Power virtual, and I know the minute we opened up registration for Seekers of Power in person, you already said you got your plane tickets. For those people that are here that are new in the world, don't have any background, what would you tell them an impact of something like this training from your work could do? And just so you guys know, I'm getting Chuck off guard here. I didn't stage this. I just seen him there and said, I know he's been through them.
I remember this was the first training that you did with Food Dog, and I remember being skeptical at first and didn't know what to expect. We started on New Year's Day.
Right.
New Year's Day. And it was mind-blowing after what I got after the first session, because we started with a baseline. And I was able to go back through my notes and actually rewatch those trainings afterwards multiple times now, and see the baseline where I was at to where I finished, and actually watch myself transform. That was, and still is, amazing to me. I mean, it's not just that training, it's all the trainings, but that one is so special to me. Number one, because it was the first, and it was the time that I chose to step into it. And it was all my choice, right? And it was a commitment, financially, time, young kids, the whole 9 yards, Mike. Every so-called excuse I had in the world, and we made it work. We made everything possible work, and I couldn't tell you one breakthrough or two or three breakthroughs that I had. It was huge levels of breakthroughs, and not just mind, body, spirit, but like all around. And the fact is, like, it opened my eyes to a lot of things that I didn't even know were possible.
Yeah.
And I still remember the celebration, and it's one of my favorite times to rewatch that celebration with you. And you gave us a rock.
Yeah.
And you said, we did an exercise on there, and you said to watch the rock, and it still gives me the warm fuzzies every single time I get to rewatch that. So yeah, I mean, that's really all I got.
Awesome. And that training 3 years ago was almost $7,000, right?
100%.
And I would hope you would say it was worth every penny, but you say it if it was.
I mean, if you told me it was triple right now and I got the results that I have today, I'd probably pay quadruple.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Let's give him a fist bump, everyone. 3, 2, 1, boom. And I want to get one more, and then we're going to go into bulletproofing your energy. Hank, would you share, you came to change the channel. I know you're already signed up for Seekers of Power. Tell anybody here whatever feedback you would say about attending a live experience.
Yeah, sure. You guys got me here?
Yep.
Yep. All right, great. Yeah, so what I would say, and I've been doing the personal development thing for a long time. The first book I read on a plane ride from New York to California was Tony Robbins' book, Awaken the Giant Within. It was awesome. It was great. And I've had the opportunity to train with Jim Rohn, who's trained Tony Robbins, and the list goes on. The Food Dog Group, all of the material, it comes at it on a totally different approach path. It's an unsuspecting approach path. I would say it's a from the inside out approach. And I know there's a couple of people I know here from, Mike uses the term, his world, but they know me from my space and from out here in Virginia Beach. And you might say, I don't know, whatever it is, $5,500 or $4,900 or whatever it is. And that might initially seem like a chunk of change. And what I would say to somebody is, if something is telling you you need change and that this could possibly be it, you almost have to look at it, or I would suggest to say, you can't afford not to go. Find a way to make it fucking happen and do the work, and your life will change, but you got to do the work. And I can't speak enough about the whole Food Dog team and the transformation. There you go.
Awesome. Let's give him a fist bump. 3, 2, 1, boom. Let's dig back in, everybody. And let's get a fresh sheet of paper here, because we're going to talk about bulletproofing your energy. Now, energy is this thing that the universe, people today do not. Well, let me ask a different question. Do you think the world wants you to become a more powerful human? Answer that for me. Do the schools, do the government, do they want you to become the most powerful human? Matter of fact, they don't. They kill those people, right? They don't want you powerful, because if you're changing and changing the world, well, it's tough to make money. They make money off of slaves and hostages, and that's how they make money. Control, right? That's how the world makes the money. They don't make it off of people that understand. So I want you to understand, when energy seems a little weird at first, some people would say, oh, it's foo-fooey, is because the people that wanted to maintain control had to play down it, It's interesting because it's still sitting next to me. I've shared it before. This book that I'm reading, which is called 180. It's a really neat book, and I'm going to share the one point for you because I think it's interesting, and I think it's worthy to share with you guys because it plays a part perfect with energy. So, and you guys tell me, ready? What's your immediate and instinctive reaction to the term conspiracy theorist? Tell me, what's your first reaction to that? What is it? Tinfoil hat? Is it people that talk about the weird things? Tell me in the chat bar. COVID, fake, idiots, negative, my son. Okay, now listen to this. Ready? Like many people, it's to think of a basic dwelling, tinfoil hat wearing individual who is completely irrational and spends most of their time concocting bizarre, far-fetched stories with little or no proof to support them. Then congratulations, you have succumbed to one of the most effective terminology hijacks and mind control operations ever created by the CIA. Okay, here's the other part. Its introduction into mainstream narrative came courtesy of the CIA strategy paper 1035-960 and was used to marginalize and quarantine those with reasonably suspicious of state criminality. That is to say, anyone seeking the truth or questioning the official narrative should be attacked as a conspiracy theorist. Very interesting. Now, why do I make this point for you guys? I make it for a reason. Energy is, when you understand it, is outside the control of the controllable. So if we look at it, you have yourself, which is here. Now, I will tell you that if you can't hang with this right now and you can't follow this, Seekers of Power will be maybe too expanding for you. You may not be ready to connect with your wife or husband at that level. You may not be ready to allow your mind to create $32 million companies, $10 million portfolios of real estate, a debt-free, a life by design where you could travel and live anywhere in the world. I don't care if you have a company with a building and employees. Seekers of Power will be this. If you understand this, then you should crave to be one of them, to grab the ticket there. Because if you're the self, outside the self, you have this energy field. Now, I bet all of you do this a minute. All of you do this. Ready? Okay. Take your hands and hold them like this. And start to close to the point you could feel yourself without touching yourself. Good. Okay. How close do you get to feel yourself? And I want you to take a measurement of that right now. What is that? Is it, everybody do it. I see your hands. You're not going to have to wear a tinfoil hat, everybody, unless you're driving. Don't do it. All right. Now type in the chat bar, how far apart are your hands? 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches, and type in the chat bar, how far? And then shake your hands out. Shake your hands out. Well, I wasn't going to do this. I'm giving you guys a bonus here. 12 inches for, okay. I'm going to find something for you guys. We're going to do, if you're into expanding this, you'd like to see if you could expand your energy field, like ramp it up. Type in the chat bar, expand or ramp, let me know. And I'm going to do something with you guys real quick here. All right. All right, if you guys are ready for this, let's do this a minute. Just push your notebooks back a little bit a minute. Push your notebooks. So just free your hands. Rub your hands together. Clap it a couple times. Shake it out. And just relax a minute and just follow me. Just follow what I say, what I do. You're perfectly safe. You're in your own little place there. No one's hopefully going to touch you. Maybe dogs and cats might come and climb on you. They might sense the energy. And just take yourself a really big breath in, like really like big. And when you think you have it full, breathe in more like this. And slowly breathe it out like you're breathing through a small straw, like. And keep breathing out like a small straw. And as you do it, let your shoulders drop, your face drop, your body drop, your fingers drop, your muscles drop, your back drops. Okay, there you go. Take another relaxing deep breath in. And this time when you breathe out, just let your legs fall, your toes fall. I want you to feel your hair literally hanging down. Just get in such a state of like, just free everything that's in your mind and body right now. Take one more breath in, calm. And this time, when you breathe all the way out, just close your eyes for 1 minute. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, and breathe out. And as you breathe out, any stress, any pressure, any back pains, any aches, breathe it out and close your eyes. There you go. And while you're sitting there with your eyes closed, feel your body inside in your mind. Look at your body and see if you could see the energy off your body. Is it 3 inches? See if you see a glow, like you're looking as an outside person and looking at yourself. See if there's a color, a vibration, what's happening. And how wide is it? Is it 4 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches? And I want you to see yourself now, looking at yourself, I want you to expand your energy. And anywhere in your body that you feel resistance, I want you to say, be gone, disappear, go away. And just watch the resistance. You might hear popping or a little cracking in your body as resistance starts to go away. There you go. And see your energy field glowing, growing. And tap into your heart right now. Imagine that you're right inside your heart. See your heart right now. And see your heart glowing. What color would you like the flame to be in your heart? Would you like it to be blue, green, green, orange, orange, red? And I want you to ramp it up. I want you to grow the flame inside your heart. Make it bigger. Use your imagination. You're in charge. Play with it a little bit. And as that grows inside your heart, feel the outside as you sit there with your eyes closed. Feel your energy field growing off your body, expanding. You might even feel like little vibration on there. You might feel some uniqueness. You might feel like static. You might feel happy. And if any thoughts come in that you don't want, just let them come in and go. Settling into this space. I want you to ramp it like you have a dial on your heart where you slowly start to turn it up, like you're stoking a fire. You know how you poke the fire and it gets brighter and you see the little sparks coming? And poke it a little more. Turn it up just a little bit more and a little bit more. There you go. Let that just settle in a minute. And just make a decision with your mind, like, mind, I'd like to carry this level of energy today for the rest of my night. I'd like to carry this energy into tomorrow. Slowly take a couple breaths, nice and calm. And on the third calm breath, open up your eyes and just look at me. Just breathe in once and out, twice and out, 3 times and out. There you go. And just take a look at me now. And I want you to pick up your hands now and put it back up and see how far is it now that you feel it. How far is it now? And type in the chat bar, how bigger is it? Is it double? Is it 5 times? Is it 10 times? And feel the vibration. Keep moving. See how far you go. You'll feel the vibration from palm to palm. How far is it? And type it in the chat bar right now. Type it in the chat bar right now. Yeah. Yeah, Hank. Everybody type. What did you feel? What did you get? 20 inches. Much wider. Now that's only in a very short period of time. And I guarantee if you hold your hand over your body like this, you'll also start to feel, it might be a little different in different areas. Now, if you expanded this, everybody, let's just put reasoning. I don't expect you to agree with it, and you don't even have to understand it right now. But if energy is everything, and everything is energy, and you were able to live within this state of expansion, your mind functioned from this level of energy in your body. Tell me what would happen to your life. Tell me in the chat bar, what would change for your life? What would change for your health? Did you feel better with it? Tell me in the chat bar, do you feel stronger? I know you don't feel weaker. Do you feel happier or sadder? Do you feel like you could create your future, or do you feel like you would be destroying your future? Tell me all the things in the chat bar. When we look at this diagram, we have our self and we have an energy field. And we know that everything is energy. This is scientifically proven. And so you have another layer of energy field here. And then you have this universal field here. And you have an abundance of energy. How do we know? Well, you have atomic energy. We use energy. I just was watching a video of Russian astronauts in space. In space. You have planets that are floating. You have over 1,000 universes. But you're conditioned to feel you are nothing more than a human on Earth. A material thing is what you're convinced about. Instead of, imagine you were born and every day every day. And I would tell you to bring some of this to your children. Imagine every day when you were born, as you started to walk, you told that child, feel your energy, raise your energy. How unstoppable are you? Now, my son's not on tonight because he's got a friend in from town. But anybody who does accountability, mind, and coaching from my son, type in the chat bar. I bet you feel a sense of energy. I bet there's a sense of energy. Because through his life, I was saying, feel your energy, feel it grow, see it get bigger, and helping him understand that you're more than just read this history book. I mean, do you guys really think there's a benefit of reading a history book with dead bodies in it for a 13-year-old or 12-year-old? They gassed the bodies and threw it in a trench. And do you guys really think there's a benefit to seeding the mind with that? You tell me. Maybe you think there's value in that level of understanding history and an unmatured mind that doesn't mature till they're 25, right? So when we go back to this energy thing, I want you to understand, not only do you how do you bulletproof it, you expand it and grow it and take charge of it. When you do this, you'll have more vibrant, you'll have energy. Sometimes people see me, they see me get on stage, they see me communicate here. It's 8:20. I've been going since this morning. I taught on 3 different calls, so 3.5 hours. I've been going all day strong. I'm not jacking up on Red Bulls and coffees and caffeine and vaping the shit out of myself, because I understand energy. If that makes sense, tell me in the chat bar, what do you understand about energy now? What do you need to do now? What do you need to do now? Let's go for number 5, because this is really important. Tell me in the chat bar. You know what's interesting? When I talk about to the world about bulletproofing yourself and raising your energy, people are so confused that it's motivation and excitement and clap your hands. It's the farthest thing from that. It is an understanding and an unlocking inside of you of what's been shut down and dormant as not possible, not believable, foo-foo, woo-woo. And then all of a sudden, you feel it. It's there. It's proof. It's hard to, it's like firewalking, right? People say, oh, firewalking, it's this frost thing, and you gain frost on your feet and it protects your feet. Oh, bullshit. That thing's 1,200 degrees. I had one time somebody walked on a firewalk we did, was not mentally, he put 10 holes in his foot the size of a quarter. It took 6 months to heal it. Well, where was the moisture on his feet? It's the understanding of the mind, the body, the spirit, and the energy. Now let's talk about bulletproofing your family here, okay? Because it's one thing to invest in yourself and change yourself, but what about your family? First, there's making a decision yourself. How do you want to live your life? My wife and I talk about this, and it's kind of interesting. You know, I think anytime you have a relationship where it's permission-based, I feel it will only last a period of time. If you're in a relationship, you have to ask permission. That's kind of like, I guess, slavery or something, right? It's kind of like the school system. Like you have to ask permission to go to the bathroom versus support. And think about it a minute. Maybe don't answer here, but how many of you realize you might have been in a relationship like this in the past where you feel like you have to ask permission? Hey, is it okay if I go out? Is it okay if I go do a training? Hey, do you mind? That's a permission-based relationship. That's not a support-based. Support-based goes, hey, I would like to collaborate about this. I'd like to communicate about this. So first, you have to get real with yourself. How do you want this to be for your family? How do you want your family to live into the rest of this year? Then the next thing is you got to have some conversations with the family, whoever that is. Like, so this is probably maybe a husband and wife or partner. Like, we got to have a conversation. And the conversation is like, let's build how we're going to live, how we're going to grow, how we're going to expand. How many of you have parents that are alive, and if you look at the last 30 years, they're not much different. They're not much different. They sit in the same chair, watch the same show, they eat the same food, they go to the same restaurants, they walk the same way, they talk the same way, like no growth, no growth. Expansion creates growth in everybody. Now, once you decide in your family, you make a decision and you decide to expand, then you go over here. It's the message, like, what do I want to deliver? What do I want to deliver to my family? What do I want to deliver to people? Here is my life. We were talking about this on one of our, try 60. We were talking about this on one of our calls today about delivering a message like, how do you want to live? Are you, when you go visit family or you go on vacation and family, do you fall within their paradigm of the rules? Or do you say, here's my guidelines, this is what I'm going to do? My wife and I, we're going away in whatever, in a day or so, like, we don't even know the hotel we're going to stay at yet. We have no idea. We get in the vehicle, we drive, when we get close, we start looking for a hotel, like, right? Because we know our own rules, we know our guidelines. Then you got to course correct, right? You got to course correct with your family. Are we tracking and becoming bulletproof? Or are we in the aim of fire of what's happening in the world? And to become bulletproof, you got to start looking at your, talking about maybe your children or your environment or your community, like what's influencing their minds. You know, I love these, maybe some of you, you'll hate this conversation, but, you know, in New Jersey and stuff, and I'm sure it's other places in the world where they all clap, right? Like marijuana is legal. What a brilliant control mechanism. Brilliant. You want to control people, neuter the shit out of them. And then people go, well, you don't understand, Mike. You never smoked pot. It calms you down. And I go, okay, you don't understand. You're not in control of your own mind. If your statement's fair, my statement's probably fair. How about this? You don't need peyote and you don't have to go to the rainforest to try to shift your life, and you don't have to vape marijuana. What about this? Why don't we learn how our mind works and shift it where your mind creates the desired outcome, where you can, you know, they frame this buzzword, and a lot of you probably have it. It's this anxiety. Anxiety is a breakthrough that you don't understand how to capitalize on it yet. So they frame it in a word so we can put shackles around you. You have anxiety. No, you have a breakthrough inside your mind, your body, your spirit, your cells. We just got to identify the breakthrough. If we identify the breakthrough, everything will shift for you. So now what happens is, once we course correct, you got to take action. Let's move forward again. Let's move forward again. And then we come back to this. Let's communicate again. And would you say that communication in families is stronger or weaker today? What do you think? Stronger or weaker communication across families? Well, if it's texting only, it's probably weaker. If you're not having transparency, it's weaker. And we want to get back to stronger. So in order to create the future, the economy, your life by design, you have to bulletproof your family, which means we have to start communicating differently and bring new experiences into their world. I was sharing on some groups and stuff the other day, pictures of my son when he was 14, learning about energy and fields and martial arts. And it's not about my son, it's about when's the right time to plant an oak tree. 25 years ago or today, right now. Stop waiting to plant an oak tree. If that makes sense, give me a boom in the chat bar, everybody. We got 2 more to do. Can you hang strong? Type in strong if you're going to hang strong with me. Those of you that are on here as guests tonight, well, you're getting bonus extra time here because I don't believe in following a time. I believe leading into a result. And we shouldn't stop short until we got the desired result outcome here. Okay, the desired outcome. So we got to bulletproof our wealth. But you're like, Mike, you don't understand. I don't even have wealth. I'm broke off my ass. I got credit card bills. I'm trying to, I owe money. I got to pay my mortgage. I get it. I completely understand. When I was 19, I had a mortgage that was $1,900 a month was my mortgage at 19. No furniture. I had lawn chairs in the house. The interest back then was 18%. 18%. People are bitching about 5-6 today. I was paying 18%. In like 7 or 8 years, I paid off $1,000 off the house, right? I get it. I feel you. But I also know this. As you expand your mind and you invest in changing and shifting yourself permanently, you will start making more strategic decisions and things will go away. Those of you on here that did Unlocking the Wealth Code, the 3-day virtual total immersion, how many of you have had freaky things happen with money since that training? Type in the chat bar. Monies came to you, random checks came to you, you got approved for loans you never thought, you sold things you couldn't imagine. Tell me, watch this in the chat bar, everybody. Look in the chat bar. How many people just had like freaky, amazing stuff since Wealth Code? I would say honestly, yes, crazy, freaky. I know. So all of you, it can change. Now we got to look at seasons, right? At seasons. So here is summer, right? And then when we go from summer, we have fall, and then we have winter, and then we have spring. Now, the thing is, this is not seasons of wealth like the actual temperature outside. We are in a season of what they would call winter right now. Winter is a season like recession, depression is a season of winter. It's a season where cost goes up, inflation is up, real estate starts to collapse and go down. It's called winter. Okay, it's when everything starts to freeze. Now, that's okay if you guys understand that, because in order to bulletproof your wealth, if you know we're in winter, you've already been in a state of preservation. See, when you're winter and you go in the cave, what do? What does the bear do? It brings food into the cave to hibernate. So you should have put your funds, your protection, your assets into a hibernation, right? Money market funds. And I'm not a financial investor, a financial advisor. So let's do that. And I'm not an attorney, and I'm not your president here. I'm just giving you insight of how I'm thinking today. You're in a state of preservation. Some people are in a state of buying in winter, because winter also has discounts if you're prepared and you have that ability to buy at a discount. I believe we're going to be in winter for a little bit, but I will tell you that between here and here, which is roughly 24 months / max 36, spring is going to be amazing. It's going to be incredible. Things grow. Wealth's going to grow. Opportunities through the roof. The greatest wealth in history is going to start to happen in spring. But you must train here in winter. You must train in winter to capitalize on spring. You can't sit in a chair. When we go from spring to summer, oh man, this here, you guys, those of you that participate and focus and you're around the right people, you will have a summer of legacy style wealth. And when you hit legacy style wealth, you will never have to worry about falls and winters again. You will only be ready for springs and living summers. Type in the chat bar what you're hearing and what you're taking away, everybody. Type in the chat bar, what are you hearing and what are you taking away? Does this make sense? If you do not train your body, your mind, your spirit, your family, if you do not bulletproof those things, when spring comes, you will be trying to lick your wounds of life, of health. Instead of, we're in training right now. We've been in training. Anybody that's been in my world, I've been talking about training for this for years now. This is not a surprise for us. We've been building our focus, making smart decisions, not becoming adrenaline junkies to buy the next little flip or the next multifamily property. We're not junkies on things. We're strategic preparers. We're waiting for the moment. A friend of mine has a really great example. He says, like, you could go on a boat in the middle of a lake and you could have a fish finder, you could put bait, you could pull up fish one at a time, or you could go right to the right spot and the fish jump in the boat. Okay, we're talking about here, fish jumping in the boat. Give me a big old boom if that makes sense, everybody. A big old boom. Okay, now some of you have missed out. You missed out on the summer. I know a lot of people wanted to sell their company. They delayed. They kept hoping for another million. They got close here to fall. We were in fall and they missed that, went to winter, and now boom, their dreams of legacy, their dreams of living this life of design have just been nothing but a fantasy in their mind because they missed the summer. When you're in the summer, you're selling or capitalizing 2 years early, but just on time. Everything I did was 2 years early or just on time. Okay. All right. Let's finish strong with number 7, everybody. Bulletproofing your future. Okay. Bulletproofing your future. So here is where you're at today. Here's where you're at today. And we talked about all these pieces that you're going to put in place, right? We talked about, right? Bulletproofing the mind, bulletproofing the body, bulletproofing the spirit, right? Bulletproofing your family, right? Bulletproofing your wealth. And with all these bulletproofing and all this training we're doing, we are coming down into this ramp and we're making sure that when we go into this ramp here, we are going to shoot into that spring, just like Tony Hawk. You know Tony Hawk? I was a skateboarder as a kid, so I had a Tony Hawk board. Anybody else? Type in Hawk in the chat bar. Some of you don't know who he is, but he's a great skateboarder that, he's a big deal back then. I couldn't do a ton of stuff, and we did build a quarter pipe in our garage, and that was dangerous as hell for our friends. I don't even know why our parents let us do that. I'm pretty sure some people got, today you'd get probably sued, brain dead, but you're going to launch off of this thing. You're going to launch off of this thing. But bulletproofing our future is all about everything I said and making sure our identity is changing into the future. Every event we do is for no other reason of seeing where humans are and humans should consider going. That's it. Every event we do. Change the channel with shifting identity. Where are humans? They need to change their identity to go to what? Unlocking the wealth code. Unlocking the wealth code was to teach people how to capitalize on their mind, on their assets, on their life of wealth. And that, what's next? Seekers of power. Now, it doesn't matter if you miss the rest. You got to jump in the momentum group. Seekers of power. Creating an unstoppable human that understands power on every level. So you're not standing in front of your family, your people, your husband, your wife as a half-broken human. You could be full and powerful and be in charge of your energy, in charge of understanding the deeper wisdoms of the world, the deeper wisdoms of life in the universe, the deeper wisdoms of manifestation, creation, capitalizing, the deeper wisdom of decision-making, where we're going in this future. And then you will have a bulletproof future. Anything you miss creates a future of risk. It's a future of risk. I'm watching it right now. These adrenaline junkies buying stuff left and right. And then you know what they do? They call me up and they're like, I don't have enough money to finish the project. And contractors don't show up. I'm getting my ass handed to me. Tell me if you've heard anybody in the last year use the words, I overextended myself. Tell me in the chat bar. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Have you heard this at all? I overextended myself. Right? Yeah. Yep. Burn the candle at both ends. Yep. And then what happens is they haven't stopped this. It's an addiction of overextending because they keep chasing. It's the gambler. It's the Atlantic City. It's Las Vegas. If I just keep chasing the next one, the next cards, eventually I'll hack and win. Well, I'll tell you how you hack and win. Everything that we covered tonight. So what I'd like to do is, well, I don't know if Jason Kirby's on tonight, but you heard from other people. So it's just some cool things. He's a completely different person now. Here's the information on Seekers of Power, September 14th to 16th. You come in the night before or day before. The 14th, complete full day, so you know. Okay, we go from whatever 9:30 or so till 10 or 11 o'clock at night till we're done. You'll be okay. You'll be fine. People that think they have no energy find all the energy in the world. The next day, all day long, you're going to be in the world with myself, some other speakers. No speakers that are going to tell you just motivational stories. You're not going to get that. If there's a story, it's followed by an action. It's followed by an action. And then on the 16th, I think we end around 5:30. So this is a complete full virtual training. Okay. If any of you are interested in that, I'll tell you what to do next. And here's what's going to happen in a minute. So team, you could put the link in there and you should go to that page anyway, as I recorded a great video on there. You could watch the video. So if you're interested in attending, there's a couple things you could do. You could go to the link tonight and you could commit to it. And I hope you'll do that. Members that are on here, I have my team here. So if they didn't ask you yet if you're attending, you hit them up. They'll be reaching out to you based on if you're free to master your legacy anyway. And if you have questions about the event, logistics or something, we could put you in a breakout room. You just need to tell us breakout room and we'll move you there. All right, registered already. Nice job, Cody and Melanie. Super awesome. So that's how we're going to end here. If you have questions, let us know. Otherwise, people that are here, that are in my world on a regular basis, either Freedom Tribe, Master Your Legacy, you're going to stay behind. We're not done tonight. We still got another 20 minutes to go, everybody. We're going to have a great conversation. The rest of you, if you want to go to a breakout room, just tell us in the chat bar. Otherwise, if you're a guest, I hope you'll join us for Seekers of Power. I hope you're one of them that acts fast enough and actually gets a ticket to it. If not, well, then the next one. And but if you're done, we're going to kindly say we love you and go among your way. I'm going to play one song. My team will communicate. They'll move you on. And then after that, everyone else in my world, we'll get cranking. So let me just find one good song for you guys while we let some part. Also, if you have to use the restroom, feel free to go use that restroom right now real quick for one song. Here we go. Boom.